everybody, it's Project Nerd, and welcome to I'm Not Famous. This is episode 0. I'm here with Kerry, and I'm Iggy, and guess what?
What's
We're not
that?
famous.
We are not famous,
Nor
nor should we.
And when you watch the episodes that are to come after this, you'll understand why we're not famous. Exactly right. So, for those of you familiar with it, we've plugged it some on the Nerdcast. I'm Not Famous is our new podcast videocast series, and we thought since Kerry's co-hosting it, and he's new to the Project Nerd world, and he's had some great questions.
Absolutely.
And some inappropriate topics. Everything that our Project Nerd family loves. We figured we'd just do a quick episode 0 and kind of chat about whatever. But now I'm like, as we're getting into it, I realize like we did it again. We just killed like another hour of just talking about stuff here. So that's the end of the, no, just kidding.
Yeah, it's crazy. Most of you guys don't know me, so it's a pleasure to meet all of your audience here. But I appreciate you letting me co-host.
All 3 of them.
All 3 of them.
All 3 of them.
And they're all me, but just with different email addresses.
Hi, Mom.
Yeah.
Hi, Mom.
I would say my mom, but no, she doesn't want to watch this. We get very inappropriate.
Right.
We're still trying to figure out the format, I guess, in a lot of ways, but we're keeping it pretty off the cuff, kind of.
That's how we do it.
We've had some great interviews so far, and we'll continue it as we go in the next month.
Definitely. No, for the Nerdcast, we'd always joke because we used to record together in my basement. I had a table set up with mics, and then Tyler would always be like, Iggy, quit pretending like we're not sitting in your mom's basement recording. And I was like, okay, yeah. So,
yeah, with this amazing mural behind us.
Right, yeah, this is in my mom's basement,
yeah.
The mural. She's been practicing her art. I don't know if you guys think
my dad cheated on my mom, so he allowed me to do this in the basement. So it's more of a blackmail thing. Hashtag I don't want a stepdad.
Hashtag no stepdad. Our moms are gonna actually watch this and be like,
2 gingers in a basement. You know, it's a great idea with a crazy pink mural behind us.
2 gingers in a basement. It sounds like the gross porn.
Yeah.
2 women in a cup or whatever.
Yeah, 2 gingers.
2 gingers in a basement.
I'm the before and he's the after.
That's
if you can't figure it out.
The braziers.
The brazzers.
Yeah, the two. We've had so we sat down with DK earlier, costumer, actress, all around great person. And then David, who is a fire breather. I keep wanting to say...
I think it was fire performer.
Fire performer. Yeah. I keep wanting to say fire starter, because I keep thinking Prodigy.
Absolutely.
Because we referenced Prodigy this morning.
We did. It's also out on Netflix. Don't recommend it. Don't get it. The movie, but the actual band, no one really gets. It's like Rammstein, but the PG version is what I kind of think of Prodigy.
You smack your bitch up?
Well, but then it was edited and put on a lot of different radio shows.
Yeah, so it's...
But now you got to think, like, that was back in, the early 2000s?
90s, dude.
Right. So that could easily be on the radio waves now, and no one would probably, bat an eyelash if that reference makes any sense. No, I'm a huge fan, of all the stuff that we've talked about so far. And you guys hopefully will see learning about fire performers, learning about people that dress up in cosplay, and some of the other episodes, you'll actually learn, because understand, I know nothing about anything we've talked about. That's kind of my research, is to know nothing about what's actually going on.
I was just going to say, you really don't know nothing about anything, so it works out. That's why we have Kerry.
I know sports, which we've yet to talk about in any of these podcasts.
Crazy enough. Crazy enough. Imagine that, Project Nerd. We have, I mean, not on this, obviously, but we have talked about it in previous. We recorded the Nerdcast this week without Adam because he had traveled down to Tallahassee to catch the first game of Florida State.
Nice.
So the first, 5 minutes is throwing pity on Adam because they lost, I guess.
Yeah.
See, I didn't even know.
That Florida State lost?
Well, yeah, he's like, I'm driving back from Tallahassee. I can't record tonight when we record on Tuesday. And I'm like, oh, yeah, it's football season.
Yeah. Nobody cares about college football, and nobody goes to Florida State to watch football. If you've ever watched a Florida State game,
we're going to flash Adam's name at the bottom of the screen.
You've seen the first row of all the people that are watching. That's the game, is the first row of the fans. Watch it and then comment below.
It's a pretty big stadium.
I'm just saying.
That feels pretty big.
I'm saying, anybody that's watched FSU Seminoles, which
are you repping that 305? Is that why
I am, that 305, that Oakland reference.
That Oakland. Courtney, this one's for you.
Yeah.
Hashtag Oaktown, rubbing that 305 with 2 chains.
Yeah, with a Flow Rider on a jet ski as a GIF. Look that one up.
No, was he on the jet ski or was he on the dolphin?
I thought it was a jet ski with Betty White type character behind him throwing out making it rain, as the kids call it, making it rain out the back of the jet ski with Flow Rider. Yeah, we're just gonna get really into some crazy stuff in this format. This is actually a really cool format. So talking about what this format's going to be, it really isn't anything, right? It's just free form, like just talking through.
We're following a strict script. We're not allowing any alcohol on there. And there's no language.
None inappropriate language.
And never once do we call Jeff a fluffer
no.
in any of the episodes you're going to watch.
Yeah. It's kind of like if you've ever watched Psych, the TV show, where it's always the pineapple. You got to guess when the pineapple shows up.
What?
You never watched that?
Psych? No.
Oh, Psych was a great show on USA.
Pineapple, so they would have a
great
pineapple
show.
in every episode?
Every episode. In every episode, you had to try to guess where it was at, or you had to comment where it was at. In our episodes, you will constantly see a theme of a fluffer. Now, if you don't know what a fluffer is, don't look it up. We'll explain it in multiple different.
No, look it up. Look it up. But make sure you change your browser to private.
Yeah.
Twitter erases the history.
You're gonna see like we're gonna do the more you know.
Don't do an image search.
But it's gonna be more like two gingers know. Like we're just gonna give you knowledge.
The more two
we're
gingers
dropping
know.
knowledge on you, and the first one you need to know about is being a fluffer, because we have a few references about that. I think it's gonna be a theme that we're gonna have all the way through.
They named an alcohol after us, didn't they? Two Gingers.
Two Gingers, yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was named after us because they went and saw this on Project Nerd, and eventually the show gets so popular that they travel back in time and made the.
It's a whole Bill and Ted's thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We made
instead of Back to the Future, where we come back and make a lot of money, they just came back, stole all of our likenesses, and then made.
Well, they didn't steal our likeness, is what they're saying, because they had it before we were born, because they came back in time.
So they say, but
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So they say. We did have one episode of the Nerdcast. If I knew the episode number, we could definitely share it with you. But otherwise, just go listen to all of them. So it's a good easy.
Why not? Why wouldn't you? But what are you doing anyway?
It was the Academy Awards episode, the year of Gone Girl and all that. And only Gone Girl's only nomination was Rosamund Pike for actress, which was totally worth it.
No.
And then obviously Reznor.
So
every time Reznor does a soundtrack.
Oh my God, I can't eat it. Listen, Trent Reznor was an amazing person. Okay, but anytime he came out with it's like T-Bone Burnett.
You're completely wrong. He was a horrible human being.
No, he's not.
He was.
Nine Inch Nails was great. I didn't like the genre.
Nine Inch Nails was great.
Right.
But he was not a great person. And then he had a kid. He settled down.
I'm not saying like as a person.
Scores.
I'm saying like as a musician.
You use the word person.
Okay. He was better as a musician when he was in Nine Inch Nails than when he decided to go behind a computer, type in buttons, and make a shitty soundtrack.
Is this Picard enough?
No, I'm saying like but between him and T-Bone Burnett, those are the only two composers, or whatever you want to call them.
First of all, you're not a composer if your name's T-Bone Burnett.
Oh my God! Like, what is it, Crazy Heart, where he won a bunch of awards?
Is that who that was?
Yeah. I believe so. I don't know. I've been rewatching True Detective season 1. Definitely recommend it. Okay.
Where'd that come from, though?
Cause that's where I was going to say it.
Oh,
as usual, another ginger interrupts me. T-Bone Burnett did the original, whatever. What is it? Score for.
We've only used that word 5 times.
I don't know.
For this.
I don't know. I thought it was more like a performer kind of thing. But he does
all
of the music.
Crazy Heart, he wasn't necessarily scoring. He's doing the original music.
That's what I was thinking, like original sound writer or songwriter.
Because like the Academy Awards has 2 categories, the original song and original score.
Right, but that's a joke. That's like a joke one, right?
No,
people actually pay attention to that?
Well,
let me ask you this. Is it on the regular broadcast or the pre?
It is currently, but they are going to move some of those to the commercials now.
Yeah, so they can have like most popular film.
Well, have you seen that? They've already cut it out. They've already canceled.
But have you seen that?
For this.
They came out with like most popular.
Yeah, if you listen.
So Kardashians aren't going to win Oscars now.
Aren't?
They are.
No.
I mean, have they won before?
No.
They probably won Emmys, but
I don't even think they've won Emmys. But anyways,
they've
already canned that category though.
Which one?
The most popular category.
Are you sure?
This week that we're recording, so not this week that this is airing. This week that we're recording,
when this airs,
they actually
show will be back in there.
They actually announced that they were already. Yeah, by the time this airs, they may have it back in.
Yeah,
I don't
it'll
know.
be a big protest, right? Like that's the new thing. It'll be an online. You just sign your name saying you want most popular movie. Isn't that what the MTV movie awards are for?
There was no clear definition what most popular movie was.
Right.
So like, does it have to hit a certain box office number? If you get nominated for most popular movie because you're at a certain number, do you no longer get nominated for best film? And then as a director, now do you target which category?
Do they actually do that when they make a movie?
Well, certain directors try to make a movie that's like, I don't need to make millions of dollars off this. I want to win awards with it. Now, you saying...
So that's the Lady in the Water person, right?
Guillermo del Toro, which makes a lot of money on
but he makes
movies.
Because he gets the Oscar buzz. No, he puts out a movie right before Oscar season. Look it up.
He did with the
exactly. He'll put out and be like, "Oh, this is Oscar worthy. Everyone watches it." Well, I still have yet to watch it. I don't get it.
Does that?
I don't get it.
I love Shape
Except Michael Shannon was in it, and I really want to watch it because he was in it. But
the problem with Michael Shannon is he's the same character in everyone. He's really good at being that character.
Yes.
But that's Michael Shannon.
But do you feel like, I feel like he's just playing himself. Like he just shows up with like bedhead, and like a little bit of an accent, like a pooch belly. He's like, "This is what you wanted, right?"
They call him up.
Yeah.
Hey, Michael, we're gonna need you to be in a movie. What's the role? It's the typical.
It's just like a dark, ominous role.
Okay, we'll send you the script. Oh, you don't need the script? Just show. Okay, we'll see you next week.
We're not even gonna write it. We're just gonna improvise. You're just gonna do it. Cool. You're just gonna show up and just look ominous and put out a dry one-liner, and it's gonna be like the greatest thing. Like I still haven't watched Fahrenheit 451. Is that the
HBO one?
Yeah, but it's the same role he's been in every other movie he's been in.
It feels a lot like
it. I don't get it. Like you talk about Rosamund Pike. There was only one. I
was trying to get into that.
There was only
now
one.
We're over here on.
But there's only one actor in that movie that had a great performance.
Who?
Neil Patrick Harris. Hashtag NPH.
Are you kidding
That
me?
was amazing.
Rosamund Pike was fantastic in that.
No, you put a crazy white woman in a movie, and all of a sudden it's Oscar worthy.
First of all, no, I'm not gonna get it.
You gotta go, what, Monster?
No,
Charlize Theron.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, any Charlize Theron movie. The Astronaut's Wife. Oh, imagine that. She was crazy. Imagine. I don't like Tully and all these other movies. It's the same role. It's just her. That's what I'm saying. Like,
well, so we're talking about with Michael Shannon. It's these people are, I don't know, Charlize Theron's had more award buzz around her through her career than Michael Shannon has.
But even like when she tries, so like I just watched Gringo, which actually is pretty good. It's a pretty good movie,
it dropped on. I added it to my list.
It's a good movie. I still have a hard time with a lot of the cast, but she actually plays like what I call the Jennifer Aniston role from Horrible Bosses.
Okay.
Right? Jennifer Aniston made it kind of popular to be the like really strong, feminine kind of like, I'm going to, do this.
Like over the top.
Yeah.
Like over the top too, where it's like, you're no longer the strong feminine character,
right.
You're borderline bitching character.
But it changes, right? And that's what we were talking about, as we kind of talked about on the first episode with Dee, right? Is that this idea of they started off so well, like, oh, they're going to make him strong, and then by the end, oh, now I'm going to fall in love with a guy, and I need him, and I'm going to be the stay-at-home mom. Like, why can't it just finish that way?
Is that what happens in Gringo?
Yeah. Yeah.
How is that even part of the plot?
Spoiler alert.
How's that even part of the plot?
I'm serious. We joke about it, but now we're getting serious. Writing is horrible. Writing in movies is the worst.
Lazy writing.
It's just lazy writing. It's like, we phoned it in for the last little bit of the movie, and it's horrible. I can't do it. Like, you're so great, and then we got to finish it.
Well, here's your problem. That relates to it. If you're worried about you build up these strong female characters because that's, I mean, they're more popular now. Good reason.
Right.
We need them more.
Absolutely.
But then it's still old white guys directing and writing these movies. So that's why by the end of these movies, all your stereotypes, not just for women but other characters, so many times come back into play because it's these. But then that's where Guillermo del Toro comes in play.
Oh my goodness!
He's not your
full circle.
He's not your just your old
because
white
the lady's
guy.
actually going to be with a swamp man. I still don't. What do they call? We don't know. But he won an Academy Award for creating this environment. It's like Avatar. Avatar's a joke.
Avatar didn't win Best Picture.
No, because Hurt Locker was amazing.
No, it wasn't.
Hurt Locker was amazing.
Oh no.
Guy Pearce, greatest role Guy Pearce has ever had. You know why? Because he's in it for 5 seconds.
What's that movie where he goes into space and breaks the people out of the space jail? That's the best Guy Pearce movie ever.
Is that a real movie?
It's a real movie. Lockdown or something? Yeah, it's like a futuristic space prison, and the prisoners take it over and take the guards hostage, and he's used to be a prisoner there.
No.
So they send him back up there to break into it and break them out. Yeah, it's a real movie.
This is Guy Pearce.
Yeah.
This is pre-Memento Guy Pearce, though, right?
No, this is post-Memento,
oh my
dude.
Goodness.
This is big budget sci-fi.
But as soon as you said that, the first thing I was thinking of Ghost of Mars with Ice Cube. Wasn't it Ice Cube in that movie?
Was it Ice? I think it was.
I believe it was Ice Cube in Ghost of Mars.
Ghost of Mars was so bad I've blocked out most of it.
But that's pretty much the same kind of concept. Like, we're gonna break out of a space prison on a train.
On a train.
Yeah, it's like all these futuristic movies, and then all of a sudden they're on a train. Like why can't they?
Trains will always be around.
Right. So what? The MTA is still there. The mass transit is still going to be around.
They have unions to protect this stuff, man. They will be there for forever.
There's going to be space unions.
Space unions.
Yeah, it's like, oh, no,
I'm sorry. You cannot employ freelance
Right.
astronauts, you have to go with the union.
I thought it was going to be more like you
Union
can't
workers.
buy like the space rights.
Space
You're like here
rights.
where you can't have air rights.
If you're flying in the distance between Mars and Earth,
Yeah.
you have to work with this space union.
Oh,
then
got
you
it.
land on Mars, and you have to hire new astronauts
Absolutely.
that are in a different space union
Yeah.
that cover to the meteor.
No, it's more like
meteor belt.
licenses. You got to have 2 licenses.
Oh. And then it's got the United States of the world
Correct.
has to sign
I love
off
how you say
on it.
United States of the world.
Well,
Like
we're in the
still gonna
future.
be.
We're in the
it's still
future.
like we're still the greatest. Don't worry about the China of the international thing. It's still America.
I mean, but it's not going to be the United States that takes over. But somebody's going to be like, that name was popular. It
Right.
was used in all the
Yeah.
sci-fi books. So we're gonna, when we take over the world, we're going to still use your name. It's
Yeah.
like, I own you now, so I have the rights to your name, right?
It's the only thing that's not trademarked.
Yeah.
It's like the Redskins.
What was the name in Starship Troopers in the book, in the movie? The
again,
name of the, do you know? The
Neil
name.
Patrick Harris.
Neil Patrick.
Second movie
When he
reference
sends the
to
ferret,
Neil
when he
Patrick
sends
Harris.
the ferret up to get to his
It's
mom.
the best.
Go bug your mom. How'd you tell him to do that?
I say like name like 3 amazing roles he's had. Okay,
Bobby
Harold and
Stinson,
Kumar.
obviously,
No,
too.
Harold and Kumar.
Well, yeah, that's like his best. That was his resurgence.
Exactly.
He'd been Doogie Howser and
then-
just disappeared.
and then Gone Girl.
And then all of a sudden, it's like they even reference him as Doogie
Yeah.
Howser through the whole movie.
Yeah.
He made Harold and Kumar.
Absolutely.
Well, Harold and Kumar are pretty.
So I guess like he was actually playing himself,
Sorry,
so
is
it's
this
not
your
really
Bush?
a role.
I don't see your name on it.
When he gets shot in the back, and I unfortunately went back and watched Guantanamo Bay, the second Harold and Kumar.
Is that the second or the
That's
third
the
one?
second. There wasn't a third one.
There wasn't a third one?
If there is, please comment because I do not know.
I feel like there's a third one, dude.
I don't know. All I know is when they're starting to I think
I feel
smoke
like
weed with
Guantanamo
George
Bay
Bush.
is the second or the third one, dude.
No, it's second. Because they basically continue it on. It's right after.
We do need the Google screen.
Yeah, no, it's the second one starts right after, and I love that. I love when sequels do that. Like, there's no like 5 years later.
No, it's just immediately
It's
after.
like, well, what happened in those 5 years?
If you watch, so I watch it with my kids. The show with Neil Patrick Harris. The
How I Met Your Mother?
No, Lemony Snicket's
What?
series of unfortunate events.
You watch that?
Yeah, with the kids, and it's great because when they go from season 1 to season 2, it's
Yeah.
like just taking right off.
Absolutely.
But because it had been a couple years, or at least a year since they filmed, and the youngest of the children was like a toddler and has grown up, and they make a joke about how at the end of the season they're on the bench, and at the beginning of the season they're still on that bench.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, just we've sat here so long that she's like aged like 2 years. Like they make a joke about it. Like so, it was.
I'm always fascinated because that's what TV started off to be, right? You know, the kids would magically become 5 years older than they were in the previous season, or they
because-
were recast. That's
Yeah.
my favorite. Like, we're not going to introduce you to. They're just going to take over the same.
Or they're
role.
just in the background.
Yeah.
Like Everybody Loves Raymond. Like the whole show is set in those 2 houses.
Yeah.
And how many times are the kids there?
Were there any, did they even have any
They
kids?
had twins and the girl. They had like
Oh.
twin boys and the girl,
I mean, I remember it.
and they were hardly ever there.
Let's look at how is Ray Romano famous? I don't get it. You bring up Everybody Loves Raymond. I never understood it.
Well, I think
Like Patricia Heaton, is that her name?
someone.
I believe that's her name. I'm sorry if I got it wrong. She was amazing in that show. Like, she carried that show. And the mom.
Here's your
Those
problem.
are the two.
You're reflecting on a show from that time period to where if
Yeah.
you look at any of those shows, they're good, but they're all stagnant. They all stay the same through
Yeah.
11 seasons. So they have great ratings. People get comfortable, come home, watch it at night. The ratings stay great. People do it.
Right.
But now we're in an era of television where it's, and I think even at Colorado Springs Comic Con a couple weeks ago, Theo Rossi from Sons of Anarchy and Luke Cage was talking about it. He was saying, like, you used to do TV so you could get to movies.
Right.
Now you want
Yeah.
to do these TV shows because their plot, the budgets, everything about them is as deep as a movie, even deeper sometimes because now you can go deeper in the stories
Yeah.
with more episodes. TV used to be like that. So when we look back at these old shows, like when people revisit Friends and talk about how much they like Friends, like I can't stand Friends anymore.
No.
It's because it's the same episode over and over again. It's the same formula every
Okay.
show, and it's the same with Everybody Loves Raymond. Like I enjoyed it in the time, but going back and visiting it, it's like watching the same thing over and over again.
Well,
To get into deep movies, there is a third Harold and Kumar. It is called Harold and Kumar 3D Christmas.
Oh, the Christmas one.
Oh, yeah.
So our fluffer off screen here.
Yeah.
Has, thank you, thank you, Jeff.
Yeah.
It's our fact-checking fluffer.
Fluffer to us means
for this one,
all
the credits
purpose.
for this one when the credits roll, it'll say fact-checking fluffer.
Who needs IMDb when you have a fluffer?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's right. They did have a Christmas one where they had like the Santa
the Christmas
and all that.
one's the third one. See, I
Yeah,
knew there was a third
yeah.
one. Okay, so Guantanamo Bay is the second one with George Bush.
Second one, yes, is
Because
with
they had him.
the
They end up at
character-
George Bush's
yeah.
ranch.
They parachute in
up to his ranch
to try to like get to the Texas wedding or whatever it was. But it was obvious just a money grab. But going back to what you were saying about TV, though, I think what's interesting now is the idea that you can watch an 8-hour show, right? Mm-hmm. Instead of a 2-hour movie, you can watch 8 1-hour episodes, but you get the character development, and you actually don't have lazy writing. You can actually develop a character to where with
you're
the other ones are a little
seeing
different.
adapted materials go back and do this stuff now.
Right.
And it's The Watchmen now. HBO picked it up. And it's,
they did?
Yeah, and it's now it's being thrown around to whatever it could be. I think they're going to try to just base it off the Watchmen universe and it not be a retelling of the graphic novel again.
Right.
But that was a lot of things when it first got announced. It's like, this makes sense because you were just talking about it earlier, watching the final cut of it. It's 3.5 hours long. Yeah. And it's like when you go to what Alan Moore and Gibbs did there in the graphic novel, and they were putting in the Night Owl's like book that he had from the first generation. They had the kid who was at the newsstand. It's a world with superheroes in it. So what would a comic book be? And that's where the Tales of the Black Freighter come in. And all this stuff is intertwined in there. And it's like you have so much material and you can get so much into so many characters. And each character is essentially, it's a different perspective on humanity is what each character is serving as.
Was that in the
graphic novel?
The graphic novel,
into the movie too.
Yeah.
But you have to compress it all down into this much.
But my complaint with that
this much hours with
the horrible score in that.
You just don't like the.
There's one piece of that movie.
Hallelujah, while they're having sex in the.
Okay, you cannot ruin that song. Hallelujah is one of the greatest songs that will ever be, and to have it with Patrick Wilson and whatever the lady, I always know her from Children's Hospital. I never remember her name. She's a Swedish lady.
Name. She's got a very Swedish name.
But they're having sex in what we'll call a spacecraft to Hallelujah in the background. Okay?
I mean,
now of all the things that were on that movie,
you've seen what's his name, Patrick
Wilson?
Yeah, you've seen Patrick Wilson. For him to have the chance, the character he's playing to get with.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with what happened. I'm saying
so that's why
who decides,
he turned that song up loud. He's like, this is a Hallelujah.
But someone's in the editing booth, like watching the episode, kind of watching what's going on. You know what? This would be great for Hallelujah.
You know who made this ultimate song decision in that?
Is it Trent Reznor?
No, it's Zack Snyder.
Even worse.
That's why I say, because the whole concept is the only song that, because it takes place the late 80s, early 90s.
Right.
So the only song that wasn't from that era was the My Chemical Romance remake, which was on the soundtrack.
Yes.
But not in the movie.
Don't know what you're talking about. That's cool. I love how you go with emo, straight emo. Like, we're getting insight into anybody that references My Chemical Romance definitely wore a lot of black at some point.
I was in all black in the other episode.
I'm just saying, you pull out like, well, of all the things that weren't time, yeah, exactly. Let me
I feel like
throw my hair.
Get my hair.
I feel like I need a clove cigarette, at least 2 chains,
and maybe a PBR.
And got me there. No, but I still like that's what always kills me now. Like I've watched so many TV shows and movies where you kind of see the arc of where it's going to go, and then something like that will just completely detract you from what's actually happening. Like that's a great scene. That's what you're saying. Like it's an amazing scene for those 2 characters, completely ruined by that song.
I think so. What song would you have played?
I would have played anything else. Probably some emo. My Bloody Valentine, is that an emo band?
I think My Bloody Valentine is the name of
All American Rejects. I don't know. My Bloody Valentine was a song by them, right, or something?
Was their album? I think wasn't it?
I would go back where Prodigy, Smack My Bitch Up, would have been more appropriate than Hallelujah by anybody that sang it, because it takes away from that visual of that scene. That scene was very visual. It was a lot of stuff in the background. You saw the ship. You saw the 2 of them, and it was almost like slow motion.
Well, the problem is it's the song. The song is iconic for one, and 2, it is they did a study on it. What song more than any other song has made men cry, and it's that song.
Mm-hmm. That's a great question. What have
no,
you ever cried to?
They did like a survey of it, and that was answered more times.
Have you ever cried to a song? Has there ever been a song that comes on?
I'm sure I've cried to a song. Like, not every time it comes on.
Was it My Chemical Romance?
The Welcome to the Black Parade. No, I'm not sure. Like,
my 9th grade girlfriend broke up with me, so I played the whole My Chemical Romance discography. Is that
I don't feel like there's been a time where I've, like, this song, anytime it plays, I've cried to it. But there's been a time to where it's like, something's happened and it's that odd moment where the perfect song plays for that perfect moment, where like somebody in your family just passed away, or you had that realization right after a kid's birthday, like my son's birthday or holiday, that like, oh crap, they're getting bigger, and then you hear a song about something to do with that. It's the same. It's like, have you ever cried to a meme? And it's like, I can answer yes, because there's a meme regarding like, what's the best thing about having me as a kid? And the dad answer is watching you grow up. Ooh. You know, what's the saddest thing about having me as a kid? So you're crying
at commercials now.
Is watching you grow up.
You're crying at commercials.
First of all,
you're crying at like the two old people in the bathtub for the Cialis commercial. You know, it's like, I just want to be at a beach with a bath. No, but it goes back to what you're saying. This is what my point was.
A bathtub on a beach?
Well, that's what the Cialis commercial. It's always like,
I would cry tears
who
of
wants
joy
to
then?
bathe outdoors? First of all,
all the sunblock
right?
On.
I don't like.
Let's let the two redheaded guys ask. Who wants to bathe outdoors?
Like,
I'm not exposing that much skin.
But who's writing that commercial? Like, I've never taken a bath outside. What would that look like?
I would love
Let's make 80-year-olds do it.
Clean myself and then step out onto a sandy beach.
Exactly.
Wet feet with all the sand getting back in there. So therefore, I have to get back in the tub, rinse my feet again.
But this is my favorite part. So when you go back to what we were talking about, the idea with Hallelujah, that song, like many songs that you're talking about, where it creates an emotional reaction, right? You hear songs and you immediately think of a situation, whether it's about your kids, about your family, or even a good memory, whatever the case is, right? And so when I hear that song, the last thing I think about is
having sex
two
on a ship.
Random superheroes having sex.
On a ship.
But now, unfortunately, that movie has made me now do that, and that's why I do not like that scene. The big blue phallus that comes out like in the next scene, could care less about.
So
I'm used to that, a flaccid blue
We're going to
penis.
watch that movie, and I'm going to play a different song during that scene.
Exactly.
It's going to be birthday sex.
Listen, anything from Pitbull in that 305 would have been better than taking such an iconic song. You might as well have just done the national anthem over it and completely ruined my childhood. But what I'm saying is, like, when you watch these movies, especially
had the other Watchmen standing there.
Yeah.
Oh, stay,
exactly.
Can you see?
You know, just like somebody like doing like at baseball games, like God Bless America. We're doing the 7th inning stretch.
Harry Carey's on the take me out to the ball game.
Yeah. No, but I'm always fascinated
Ferrell
now.
As Harry Carey, take me out to the ball
Will
game.
Ferrell, one of the best ever SNL sketches. If you were a hot dog,
would you eat yourself?
Would you eat yourself?
Norm.
Because it's a question that both is philosophical and relatable to every. Because then you got to think about it, like, would you?
So when he goes on there with Colin, does he accidentally call him Norm, or does he do it on purpose? Because the first time he goes down there with Colin, he calls him Norm.
Yeah.
And Colin reacts like he didn't know that was going to happen, right? And I think it's hilarious.
But you know, it's a trend now going forward.
Yeah.
Where with Jimmy Fallon, they call him that, and then with
well, yeah, now that
now Seth Meyers.
But I also like when he did his sci-fi show or the space show.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Aren't you dead?" Like, it was after he passed away. And he's like, "Maybe I am.
Maybe I am." No, I'm always like, we talk about TV and movies a lot, and we'll get into a lot of that on these episodes that you're all going to watch. But that's why I'm always fascinated by like TV and movies, is the idea of a new concept. And I think that it was an interesting choice. It didn't hit with me because of my emotional reaction to that song.
That's fair.
Like, if I didn't have a reaction to that song, that might have been a great scene. But I'm trying to get involved in the scene, and all I can hear about is like my dad singing it to me when I was 5.
To close us out, this is how you have an argument on Facebook. You make it known. Look, I'm going to disagree with you.
Correct.
But because I have this emotional attachment that's different than yours, but I can understand that scene's good. It's like, it's called being an adult, people. An adult. And with that, because we now are adults, we have to end this episode because we have sponsors. We will never get to this level of maturity
We have adult beverages as well that are our sponsors. Hashtag PBR.
No, they're
hashtag
not our
True American.
Quit plugging them.
No, not plugging them. I'm sorry. We have Home Depot as a sponsor.
We're gonna like
or this amazing cat-like figure that has
like Scott Pilgrim
protection.
It over your mouth. Like, how are you doing that with your mouth? All right. So this is episode 0 of I'm Not Famous.
Watch.
Obviously, this, with other people joining us, is what it's going to be from now on. So stay tuned next week as we feature some awesome guests. And again, Kerry, Iggy, and We're Not Famous next week on I'm Not Famous. Famous.
Credits.
Credits. Throw the cards. Throw the cards.
Top 10 horrible songs.
Scooby-Doo endings.
Dude, was it?
Hey everybody, Iggy and Kerry here with I'm Not Famous on Project Nerd. We just want to say thank you to all the amazing cast and crew for the first set of episodes. That's right, we got 8 episodes coming to you starting in October and November, courtesy of Hood Lab, giving us the space and getting set up to record with some amazing people, including wrestlers, comedians, light painters, fire breathers, cosplayers, and more. Yeah. Car makers, I guess, too.
And us.
And us. But we're not famous, remember. Again, coming to you, Project Nerd, Tuesdays in October. Once again, thanks to everybody that participated in I'm Not Famous. Check us out. October. Again, October. In case you didn't hear, October.
Tuesdays.
Peace.